Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video over on PrizePicks. I got my 3 favorite plays today in the World Cup, man. It's Saturday. We got a bunch of World Cup games. It's going to be absolutely elite. But first up, do me a huge favor. Drop a like with this one. It takes you 2 seconds. Completely free. And because you guys smacked the like goal yesterday, we're dropping free VIP for everybody for the entire weekend. So you guys can all get locked in and get all my picks for completely free. The way you guys do this is head over to the Winnable. It's winnable.com/bam. This is my store. And once you guys use code FREEWEEKEND on the VIP, there's only 50 slots. But once you guys use code FREEWEEKEND, you can get it on the VIP for the entire weekend for free. It's going to give you 2 free days for Saturday and Sunday, of course. And the way you guys can do this is just hit the link in the comments of this video. It'll be the top link in the comments. You'll get taken to a page like this. You hit subscribe over on the Winnable. And for the week that usually costs you 47 bucks, you are going to get in, for using code FREEWEEKEND, if I can just type real quick, you're going to get in this entire 2-day trial for completely free. 0 due today. And it will renew if you guys don't cancel. But if you guys are sure you don't want to do it, or you don't want to, stay on with us, you can cancel it literally the second after you buy it, and you will continue, you'll get your entire picks, and then it'll cut off right as your thing ends. So there's literally, I'm not trying to scam you guys. I just want you guys to get free VIP. If you are sure you don't want to renew, you can buy it and then cancel it right away. I'm being 100% transparent here. Now, speaking of being 100% transparent, we're going to talk about what happened yesterday. And by the way, that link will be in the comments of this video. We're talking about what happened yesterday here. On the YouTube video, unfortunately, we did not get the job done. It was very rough because Beach did not hit his line. Richard smashed his line, and McKenny didn't hit his line either. So the correlation was just all over the place. But on the Discord, I sent out one of my favorite locks of the day. Literally, I was saying, guys, this play is so good. It was so good that I even texted about it twice. This is on the free pick set. I literally sent out, this is an elite play, Malik Tillman. And then I later said, I cannot emphasize how much I like this play. It is elite value. He might even hit by halftime. He hit by I think it was 55 or 60 minutes. It was an elite play for Malik Tillman, and he greened this one out pretty easily. On the VIP, on the other hand, another rough day, honestly. We've had a couple really tough ones, but this one's looking very good. We could come out with, I think this is going to be a 9x winner, which would put us profitable on the day, but it has been a little bit of a rough stretch. And guys, some of these just make no sense. Like Tim Ream is the only guy on USA basically to go under on his pass attempted. Richards goes over, Freeman goes over, everybody basically goes over except for Tim Ream here. Super unfortunate. This would have been another banger in cash right here. And then this one is probably the most annoying one yet. This is Canadian football, and Nathan Rourke, of course, yeah, they're down in the game, but Nathan Rourke, all he needs to do is play the final drive of the game. And what happens is they put in the backup guy. The backup guy gets 100 yards, which would have easily cashed Rourke right here. Rourke ends up not getting those yards because he doesn't even play the final drive, and he doesn't hit. So another slip that we would have cashed out, we just don't get because of a little bit of unlock. And guys, this is just how it's going to work. We're going to have green stretches. We're going to have red stretches. But over the long term, this stuff does work, man. This was a little bit of a green stretch right here we had last weekend, or a couple weekends ago, the weekend before. And then this, I haven't gotten the screenshot yet, but this is a little bit of a red stretch right here, I can tell you guys. But we're going to have green stretches. We're going to have red stretches. At the end of the day, our green stretches are way outweighing our red stretches because of the correlation strategies that we use. Now, I'm not going to harp too much about that. I know a lot of you guys like the recap. A lot of you guys say, what is up with this recap, man? I just wish you'd give us the picks. I wish you were not even transparent about your picks. I wish you didn't tell us when you won or lost. I can never understand that. But I'm always going to come on here, tell you guys if I win, loss, draw, whatever happens. And if we celebrate when we win, you best believe I'm going to come on here and show you guys every single play we took when we ended up losing. Like, I'm not trying to hide anything from you guys. Now, let's talk about the Discord because this is where you can get free picks. If you guys missed on the Malik Tillman pick, what are you doing, man? It's because you're not in the Discord, and the Discord is 100% free to join. This is a couple hours before the USA game. I was like, man, this is the best spot on the board right now. The literal best play on PrizePicks. Take this one right now. Everybody locked in and cashed out this Tillman play. If you guys are not in the Discord, man, it's 100% free. You can hit the link in the description or in the comments, and you can cash out with us. Now, let's talk about the plays for today. We're starting it off in the passes attempted category. This is by far and away the most valuable category you can make money on PrizePicks because passes attempted is super correlated with the game script, with the flow of the game, right? And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a different look here when it comes to passes attempted. Before we look at passes attempted, I'm going to actually scroll all the way over to the NFL tab, and we're going to talk about the most basic form of correlation, which is this: taking Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua over on passing and receiving yards. Now, if you are completely new to correlation, you don't even know what that word means, how it relates to betting, we can talk about it right here. If Matthew Stafford goes for 280 yards or 300 yards, we'll just say 300 yards, you can basically, if I just told you at the end of this game, Matt's going to have 300 yards, it happened, right? I'm coming from the future. I tell you guys, Matthew Stafford at 300 yards that game. What are you going to do? If you can't bet on Stafford, you are probably going to go ahead and bet Nakua to get over 100 yards. How does this make sense? If Stafford's going to get a lot of yards, if he's going to get a lot of production, what's going to happen alongside that? Nakua is going to get a lot of production because they are directly correlated together. When Stafford has a huge game, Puka's got a huge game because he's getting more passing yards, he's getting more receiving yards, right? This makes sense. If the Rams are having a good passing offense, then we're going to green out both of these picks. So the point in correlation is we're betting on one thing, but PrizePicks is paying us as if we're betting on two things, right? PrizePicks looks at this and they go, okay, that's a two-man. We'll pay it out for a two-pick bet. But we're actually just betting on one thing. The one thing here we're betting on is that the Rams pass the ball very well. If the Rams passing offense does very well, both of these will hit, right? Now, obviously, this game doesn't start for another several months, and PrizePicks knows all about this strategy. A few years ago, you could have made a crap ton of money with this, but PrizePicks knows this. They're nerfing this payout all the way down to 2.1x, so they know, yeah, we're not going to let you get away with that. There are still several ways to beat football, by the way, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about the World Cup. And the way you guys can do this using correlation in the World Cup, you want to, find two players that actually means you're just betting on one player. The way we're doing this is using pass intended. We're taking two guys on the same team over together or under together, and then two guys on different teams who are playing against each other, one over, one under, right? In this case, we're taking Kessier and Doué on the overs for Ivory Coast going up against Germany. Now, you might go, bam, why are you taking them on the overs if they're the underdog team? Because typically, the underdog team is going to have less possession. Well, the way this works, the way I see this game going, is I see Germany scoring and I see them scoring fast. Ivory Coast's defense was not actually that solid. Ecuador's offense just sucked. They hit the crossbar several times in the first 30 minutes, and Germany's not going to make those mistakes, man. Germany, if I can just show you guys what happened in this group, right? This is the Ivory Coast and Germany group. I'm not exactly sure what the letter is. This is group E right here. Germany won against Curacao 7-1, and Ivory Coast and Ecuador were about to draw 0-0 in a very close game. But Ivory Coast ended up winning 1-0 at the end of the game. And this is the reason we're talking about this, because these are the two teams that we're betting on, so we might as well get to know exactly what's going on here. Let's see if I can find these games. I guess I can't find them on Google. It is what it is, guys. The point is, Germany look like the best team potentially in the entire World Cup. Right now, at least. Right now. They are looking very, very solid. Obviously, haven't played very strong competition, but they are looking solid, and they're one of those teams. Germany have always been this way, where if they know they are better than you, if they know they are significantly better than you, I should say, they're going to absolutely use that to their advantage. And this might sound dumb, right? And obviously, what team doesn't do that? Well, Spain doesn't do that. France doesn't do that. England barely does that. Germany will absolutely lay it on. If you are not on the same quality as the Germans are going to take a bunch of shots, play a bunch of passes, and really just make life hell for you. And you guys are being like, what is going on here? What is this guy talking about? Look at the Spain-Cape Verde game, right? Spain did not do that. Spain absolutely did not do that. Look at the Germany-Curacao game. Germany played German football, right? They absolutely cooked. In this one, why are we taking the Ivory Coast guys on the overs? Because I see Germany scoring a couple goals fast. If they get 2 goals in the first 20 minutes, 3 goals in the first half, then what's going to happen? They're going to lay off a little bit. Ivory Coast is actually going to start to get more and more passes. And if we look at exactly what happened when Germany ended up playing Curacao, which was that round 1 game that ended in the famous 7-1, not as famous as the Brazil-Germany game from 2014. Because Germany ended up laying off possession a little bit at the end. I mean, they're up 3-1 at halftime, and then they just started scoring at will, basically. Curacao were actually able to get the luxury of possession a little bit towards the back half of the game. And because their lines were so low to start off with, they ended up smacking these lines very easily. This is one of the central midfielders, got 56 passes for Curacao, and one of the central defenders ended up with 35 passes, which is actually pretty good because they are setting these lines very, very low. They know that Ivory Coast are not the favorites in this one. Ivory Coast will likely not get possession a lot if it is a 0-0 game. Because if it's a 0-0 game, Ivory Coast are happy with the 0-0 game. They're going to be clearing that ball every time. Germany are not happy with the 0-0 game. They're going to be holding onto the ball a ton, trying to generate shots, trying to generate chances. But I don't expect this to be 0-0. I expect this to be heavily lopsided in favor of Germany. I think Germany will score a couple early, which will mean they will lay off a little bit, and Ivory Coast will end up getting some of that possession back. Now, those are going to be our 2 plays right there. And by the way, guys, one more time, the reason we talked about Nakua and Stafford is because these guys are correlated, right? Nakua and Stafford, what we're betting on? We're betting on one thing, which is that the Rams have a good passing offense. If the Rams pass the ball well in that game, then Stafford will hit and Nakua will hit. Here, if Ivory Coast controls more possession than projected, Doué will hit and Kessié will hit. And guys, this is exactly what happened last time. When they played Ecuador, they very, very much correlated here. Doué hit 51 passes, Kessié hit 58 passes. These guys basically moved along the exact same line, and they play very close to each other on the field. Kessié is a central defensive mid, and Doué is a center back, so these guys are super correlated together. They often pass the ball to each other, even giving them both passes attempted. Now, let's get into the next play of the day, because we are going to go over to the clearances tab, and we're going to talk about the exact same group, actually. We're taking Willian Pacho on the under at 3 clearances. Now, super important thing. Do not click on this man and look at the last 5 and tell me he's averaging 6 clearances and say that this pick is dumb. Because when it comes to the World Cup, man, you've got to be super careful with the last 5. Super careful. Did I mention that? With the last 5. Because what's happening here is only one of these last 5 games is him playing for Ecuador. Arsenal, Bayern, Lorient, and Bayern, all of these games are him playing for PSG, which is his club team, right? It's like LeBron James, right? Playing for Team USA in an event, and you're looking at his last 5 games, and his last 5 games are like him playing for the Lakers back in March. Like, no, that obviously doesn't relate to how he's going to do right now for Team USA. It's the exact same thing for Willian Pacho, right? Only this one game against Ivory Coast was when he was in the World Cup. So don't look at this. These 4 games actually have no implication on how he's going to do today. And they also don't have to do with his form or anything. It's a completely different team, completely different scheme, completely different tournament, right? So the reason we're taking him on the under here is because he's going up against Curacao. Curacao are, safe to say, the worst team in the World Cup. And, I mean, no fault of their own, right? They only have like 150,000 people or whatever. And so they're glad to be here. But they got absolutely cooked by Germany. Like, straight up, they got absolutely cooked. And 7-1, they barely generated any opportunities. And as a result, if you are not generating any chances, any opportunities, any offensive play, what is going to happen because of that? The opposing team defenders are not going to get any chances to clear the ball. When you are, on the other hand, accepting a ton of pressure, you are going to get a ton of chances to clear the ball. And you might think back, well, we were just talking about what team that's going to be accepting a lot of pressure. It's going to be Ivory Coast, right? Germany's going to lay it on. You can even see Ivory Coast player right here, one of their defenders, is projected 4.5 clearances because they know Germany here is going to lay on the pressure a ton. In this case, Ecuador is not going to get a lot of pressure from Curacao. It's just not going to happen. Curacao are not going to generate a ton of offensive chances. And as a result, I expect this guy to go on the under. And if you want to compare him to basically his German equivalent, Jonathan Tah right here, who played up against Curacao last week, what happened? This guy only got 1 clearance against Curacao because Curacao basically didn't do anything offensively. They got that 1 goal. It was a little bit of a fluke. They got that 1 goal, but then they were camped in their half for like the entire game. Because they had to be, right? They're not that good of a team. They can't build out the back. So I don't see a world where there's even 3 clearance opportunities, let alone Willian Pacho himself getting 3 of them. I think it's one of the best plays on the board right now on PrizePicks. And you're getting a 5x for these 3 players. Absolutely love this spot, man. That's all I got for this one. Make sure you guys join up in the winnable. Like I said, it's 100% free to get on for these 2 days. It will renew, but if you guys are sure you don't want to join up, and continue with us on the VIP, you can sign up on this for free, then cancel it right away, and you will get your free VIP, and it will not charge you later on. So I'm not trying to scam you guys. Just want you guys to get on the VIP. Use code FREEWEEKEND on the winnable. That's the link in the comments. And let's make some money, man. On these 3 picks on PrizePicks, let's cook.